welcome to the Master of Unlocking podcast. Today is Friday, September 27th, I think, is the day. I am your host, Logan. To my right is the Caldecott award-winning illustrator, Jason.
How's it going?
Good.
Good Lunchable.
It is. Yeah, it's a good dinner there for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And to my left is local bar trivia award winner Caleb.
That's true.
Did you win last night?
Yeah, we won last night.
Yeah,
well
we
done.
won last night. So now we have to defend our title next week?
We do. We have to go back next week. Are you going to be able to go next week?
I think so.
Nice.
I think I'll be able to go.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, bar trivia.
We can, if we run into too many people, there are members that we could kick off that don't contribute.
Okay, well, we know that one guy's not going to be there.
Yeah.
But he was helpful in answering some 60s music. So
Yeah,
that was good.
Sorry about that.
We have a good,
My bad.
We have a good age range now. We got everything kind of covered, I think.
Yeah. That was my first time showing up, so I was just like, I don't know.
You fucking love trivia too.
I do love trivia, so
good for you.
That's my thing. So that is the analog of games. What about the digital of games?
What are we doing? We gonna do what we're playing? Are we gonna talk about new? What are we doing tonight?
We do what we're playing first, and then we'll talk about.
We could do that.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a lot of stuff because it's been a long time since we played.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess our last official podcast was in early August because Caleb and I did a podcast PAX. I guess Jason, got any questions about PAX? Anything?
Not really. I listened to the podcast and it was pretty concise. I can tell what you guys liked. I can also tell what you were disappointed by.
Yeah.
Although we should amend because we did the podcast on Sunday night.
Oh, that's right. So
Yes,
we have
it's
one
true.
big.
At that point, we did not think we were going to get into Final Fantasy, and we actually did.
So why don't you guys talk about that?
I'll just tell the story of how we got in.
Yes,
first
Yeah,
of all.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Logan says we're waiting for something. I don't remember what.
We had one last reservation at Roller Champions.
Oh right,
to end the day.
we were gonna redo Roller Champions, and we were kind of just standing around waiting for that. And Logan says, "Well, why don't we just walk by the Square booth just in case they're letting people in or something weird's going on?"
Yeah.
And we walk past, and there's like three of the Square booth people just standing around.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like just a marketing person, you think?
Probably,
just a person that goes to these roadshows.
And we kind of get disappointed, like, well, it doesn't look like they're letting people in. Whatever. There's still a big line, so we're probably not going to get into this. I thought, well, why don't I just talk to these people and see what they say?
Ask.
Just
Nothing.
ask.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
They're just people, right?
Yeah. So as a conversation starter, I just walked up and I was like, hey, there's not like a standby line or anything, is there? And the guy's like, no, unfortunately there's not. But hey, wait a second. And we're like, wait, what? And he just walks around the corner and comes back with 3 tickets and hands them to us. And we were like, oh, hell yeah.
And we literally just walked right up, got in line, and we were the first people in line. So the people that were like the actors kept like messing with us the whole time too, which was a little awkward, but
Actors.
There were 2 girls that were dressed up like, oh God, what's the Turks? They're dressed up like the Turks.
The train people.
The Midgar Turks. Got
Yeah,
it.
and they were also acting the part and trying to take it seriously, but we were trying to make them crack, and they did a couple of times.
Yeah, and it was because it was there was like 2 hours left on the last day, and I mean, there's no way they were going to keep up character at that point,
Right.
So we just kept messing with them, and it worked a little bit.
Yep.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the Final Fantasy VII remake. How long is it?
The demo was 12 minutes.
Oh, all right. So, okay.
I do not have any further information at this time.
That is all we got.
Huh.
Yeah,
So you and Square Enix, or well, sorry,
It will
Square.
be. I can confirm that Final Fantasy VII remake will be at least 12 minutes long.
Fantastic.
yes,
Great.
I think it took me 13.
Okay.
I think it was a max of 15 minutes, but I think I took 13.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's really good.
I don't know if we've talked about it on air before, but
No.
I was really skeptical of that game, and now I'm not. I am day one. I want to play that thing real
the
bad.
combat looked when we watched the first the kind of that first E3 reveal and stuff. It was like the combat looked a little too complex.
Yeah,
but playing it's not complex at all. It actually moves rather smooth because the little bit of time where it's like, okay, where time slows down, it really does slow down so that you can make coherent decisions and not feel like you're rushed into anything. And but yet you can still feel like you are, when you're not doing that, you can hack and slash.
Everything feels like it has a purpose in combat,
Yes.
which was my biggest complaint about 15, was that it just felt like you were doing a random series of attacks at all times. But it feels like everything in this game has a reason that you should do it. You should use your lightning on mechanical enemies because they take extra damage from that. You should save up your strong attacks so that you can do them on the weak points.
You should swap characters.
You should switch to Barrett so that he can take out the flying dudes. Like, everything feels like it has a reason. Which
you didn't see a limit break, did you?
Yeah.
Though each
kind of.
Yeah.
They have abilities that, like, you can just use Braver pretty much anytime.
Wow.
I don't know what actual limit breaks will look like, but that's kind of, so you have a ATB gauge, right? Is what
Yeah,
they call it.
ATB.
And as you do just regular attacks, that gauge fills up. And when it's full, you can kind of pause time and then tell him to do like a stronger attack. And one of those was for Cloud was Braver. So you could just do that whenever you want. So that's kind of like a limit break, but not in the traditional way.
Like the traditional Final Fantasy VII sense.
And we ended up fighting the boss differently. Like, you fought him with using the lightning stuff, and I used Barrett and did some stuff where it was like weakening his armor.
Yeah.
So we did it completely differently, but ended up with the same result. So it was kind of an interesting thing that we ended up doing different.
Yeah.
Especially for a game that was like, oh yeah, here's your first main encounter.
I know I've asked, but just since we're on the podcast, PS4 Pro, 4K.
I assume we were on pros.
It's
We're
really
actually
hard to
probably
tell.
on a PC build. This is my guess.
Well, we're playing on PCs as a demo unit, but
yeah.
It's really hard to tell at those conventions because you're standing like 6 inches away from a screen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell exactly what it's playing.
I mean,
at.
that was a bigger monitor than most of the games
Yeah.
we played on. We probably played on like a 32 versus like a 24.
It looked really good though.
It looked great.
I mean,
Yeah.
because you're 6 inches away, you kind of see some of the aliasing and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
I would say the only thing that looked bad was the hair.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you make, you know,
That's some tough hair.
that's
That's going to be forever a challenge for all Final Fantasy VII remakes from now until eternity.
Specifically Clouds.
every Square
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, Square has just had that pokey hair character for ever. Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Tough. I'm excited you guys saw that.
Game of show for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. And it was the last thing we did.
Yeah. We were just like, well, because we got into that, we missed our Roller Champions appointment, but that's fine.
That was fine. We'd already played Roller Champions, and Roller Champions was oddly enough Game of Show before that.
Yeah, it was.
So that was
I
weird.
can tell.
So yeah, I think we played Borderlands though that day.
We did play
Borderlands
Borderlands
is now
that day,
out.
yeah.
So speaking of, have you played Borderlands?
I
yet?
have. We played a couple hours. We're not too deep in yet.
It's been on what? Is it just a week or 2 weeks now?
Oh God, I don't know.
Borderlands the third.
The third.
Yeah.
I am playing as the guy that has pets, Flack.
Okay.
And Phil, who's the guy that we went to PAX with, is playing I don't remember her name, but she has the big mech.
Oh, okay.
The Iron Bear is the name of the mech. But
I remember that as an option. Yeah, when we played the demo, we played what, about a 15-minute demo?
Something like
At
that.
PAX?
Yeah.
So that's all I've played of it.
Yeah. It's really good. It's I'm enjoying it a lot as a fan of Borderlands. But it is a Borderlands Borderlands game. Like, if you didn't like Borderlands before, this is not going to change your mind. It also has some design stuff that I don't really like. Well, maybe not design stuff, but like it's just a little glitchy overall.
Yeah.
For instance, if you go into the map, and then so it shows the map initially with your character right in the center. But then if you hit the left analog stick to try to like go look around the map, it thinks that you're trying to do a shortcut. And it just like takes you straight to the closest fast travel point. So every time you go into the map and then try to look around where you are, your cursor just flies off in a direction and then goes to somewhere else.
Snapping.
Yeah, and it's really annoying.
Interesting.
It's just little stuff like that. I also I was trying to level up.
Would you almost say quality of life thing, I guess, there?
Yeah. I was trying to level up, and my cursor was stuck in the bottom left corner, and I couldn't see any of the other skills. And the bottom left corner is like one of the high level skills. I just couldn't go anywhere else. Everything else in the game worked completely fine except for that.
That's weird.
Which was really
Was it
weird.
broken until you reset?
I had to restart the whole game just to get that to work. And I'm playing on PC. I should say that.
Oh.
I assumed when you said cursor.
Yeah.
No.
You never know now.
Yeah.
Well,
but
that's true.
But despite that, we are still having a lot of fun. We just I don't think it's a spoiler to say because it's been in the promo stuff. This game, you actually go to different planets. And we just got to the first planet, so we're not
too far in.
Too
yeah.
far
Just
in.
a couple hours.
Yeah. You start on Pandora, which is where all the games start. And then we just got to the next place, so we're gonna explore there a little bit more.
How many hours for both of you on this endeavor, you think?
So far?
Well, sorry. How much will it take you?
Oh, how much will it take? I have no idea.
I haven't read. I haven't looked at how long to beat or anything like that.
I will Google that right now.
I'm just curious what you guys are in for here.
We're probably looking at a lot of time. The typical way we do Borderlands is to play through it twice, because you do the regular mode and then you do the Vault Hunter mode or whatever they call it, and then do all the side quests. And that's what we've done for Borderlands 2. I don't think we did the pre-sequel twice because it wasn't very good. But Borderlands 2, we played a ton of that. Wow. We like hit the level cap because when you finish the story the first time, generally you're only about not even halfway through the level cap. So you're still, if you do a new story mode, then you can continue your character and get those more advanced skills, which always makes things more fun.
Yeah, I did that with the first Borderlands, and then I didn't even touch Borderlands 2. I don't know why. I played Borderlands 1 and then played through as a second character, and then just was like, I don't really care.
It's a lot more fun in co-op than it is solo.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
So
I don't know. Borderlands 3, how long to beat is saying main story is 20 hours, main plus extra is 32 and a half, and completionist is 52.
Okay. So we're probably looking at like the 40 to 50 range on that.
Wow. All right then.
All right. Let's see. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, Caleb, you got the robust
list. I got a huge list, so
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll do a couple, and then we can switch to one of you guys, and then come back to me.
That works. There's probably a couple that we've got.
That or if you get to something that everybody's played.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't remember if I talked about this on the last podcast or not, but I don't think I did. An indie game called Chinese Parents. I think I might have.
I don't think so.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah,
one.
I don't think so.
So Chinese Parents is kind of a menu-driven game where you play you start as a baby, and then you work your way like through the years. And there's kind of 2 meters on the screen. The one is your stress level, and the other is your parents' satisfaction. And you got to kind of balance those 2 meters. So if you choose on your day to study, your parents' approval meter will go up, but also your stress level will go up. So you want to make sure those are balanced. And the next day, maybe you hang out with friends and then your stress goes down, but your parents aren't satisfied. So you got to keep those things in check. It goes through the years. You start as a baby, then you get to be a toddler and so on and so forth. And then at the end of it is the end of like the Chinese equivalent of high school, where you take, I guess all Chinese people take a test at the end of high school that kind of determines the rest of your life.
Oh, cool.
So
sounds terrifying.
So you have to like the whole time you're kind of like trying to study for this test while also balancing all this other stuff. And it's really cool. I liked it a lot. After you're done, you can start a new generation. So your character has kids.
As a kid?
Yeah. And then you get to start over and your stats increase because they get a bonus from their parents. Oh. So you kind of get a little bit of min-maxing there too. But it's really cool just to see kind of like the difference in, parents raising their kids. I think it does a really good job of showing that because it's a completely different experience than I had growing up. My parents were kind of like, do what you want, and this was really like, you have to appease your parents. Otherwise, you're just going to get game over. So you got to balance that stuff.
Oh, so there was like a literal game over.
I think there might have been, yeah. I never ran into it, but yeah. There's also cool stuff in there, like on the Chinese New Year, your relatives come over and they try to hand you money. And I guess it's a cultural thing for if your relatives try to hand you money, you're supposed to politely decline, but not too much because you actually do want the money, but you have to respectfully kind of decline. So it's like this mini game where you hold out your hand and you try to like push the envelope back, but you can't go too far with it. Otherwise they'll just take the money back and you don't get it. So it's really cool. And it like actually learned some stuff about Chinese culture, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It sounds rough.
Yeah.
Being a China kid.
Right?
Something like that, yeah.
I also played randomly over the summer, since we haven't talked since then. I played through Dead Rising. The original Dead Rising.
Fantastic.
Sure.
Tell me all about it.
I had never played Dead Rising, the original one, before. I love
more NPCs than you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
You can walk on all of them, Caleb. It's incredible.
I love 2 and
Game of the generation.
It's really, 1 is really good, but there's a lot of stuff in there where I was like, wait, they built this in for 2. Like I didn't know you couldn't combine weapons in the first game. You just have to use what's there. I was like, that's a thing they added in 2.
I'm pretty sure you could.
Yeah, you had to go to a closet to combine them.
Nope.
Yeah, because that's how you made the best weapon. That's how you make the chainsaw.
That's in 2.
The Uber.
That's
thing.
2.
No, I'm pretty sure that was in 1.
It is not in 1. I just played it. I can tell you it's not in there. Combining weapons is in 2.
I really thought it was in 1.
Yeah, I really thought so
there's
too.
There's that home improvement store that has all of like the trimmer thing, and you could hook all kinds of stuff up to it.
That's 2.
No, it's 1.
Nope.
I really hope that you played all the way through that and that there was no combine and you didn't combine a single weapon.
If it was, it is hidden.
there's a way to come. They're in the closets. They're in the janitor's closet.
That's 2, dude.
That was but that's how you did 1 too. Are you looking it up? All right, you look that up.
You looked that up. But I don't have a ton of to say. I had a lot of fun with that game.
I love that game. I always will. I remember when that game. There are things that stick. You guys, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but my favorite games typically are the games that advance stuff, for better or worse. And Dead Rising was one of those milestone games that took us forward. Like, oh, this is a lot of characters on this screen, and it's not slowing down, and you're just mowing through zombies, and there's more characters than had ever been on a screen before. I mean, that was a big deal when it happened.
Yep.
And near the end of that game, like where it's just seas of NPCs moving around, and there's no slowdown, and it runs pretty well. That was a big deal at the time.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a thing. Just a lot of death. A lot of just like it's like because it was like something of like killing like 73,000 zombies was like one of the achievements in that game. It was like, what? Like that's how many people you have to kill? It seemed overwhelming, but then it's like, oh yeah, when you're just outside of the, like in the little like courtyard area, just running dudes over with a car, like,
yep.
Yeah, Caleb, you just played it, so I think Logan and I are not remembering correctly.
Really?
If it's in there, there's no tutorial for it. There's, it's very hidden.
Yeah, I feel like there was, but also I don't know without being for sure. I thought that there was like that was 2 where you put the chainsaws on the sticks on each side.
That's definitely.
But I knew that was 2, but I thought that there was other stuff that you did in 1.
Yeah,
the best weapons in 1 are just like the katana and the stuff like that.
Huh.
The mini chainsaw that you get from defeating the
maybe that's
the
what
clown.
I'm thinking of, the mini chainsaws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the clown psychopath, if you beat him, then you can get a chainsaw for the rest of the game, which is really good. I think
that might be what I'm thinking about. That might be it. Okay.
But yeah, no combining, at least not that I found.
No, I think you're right, Kevin. I really do. I think you're right.
I did play about 10 hours of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I think it's a really good game, and I think it's for a audience that's not me.
Oh, really?
It got very boring to me, like pretty quickly. I like it's got some kind of the Persona type stuff appealed to me. The outside of the battle stuff, where you're managing your days and you're interacting with other people, and
that's your favorite part of Persona, anyway, right?
Yep. So
I mean, Persona's pretty good with the whole the Persona hybrid stuff, and even the combat's pretty good. But still, it's your favorite part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But in Fire Emblem, the battle system is just not for me. It's really boring. If you play on the normal difficulty, it is way too easy, like ridiculously easy.
Oh, that's interesting.
You're just kind of wading through, just trying to get to the end of the level, and you can only move your guy like 3 squares at a time. Then you got to do it with all 10 of your guys, and it just got really boring to me.
Okay.
Maybe I would have had a better experience playing on hard, but like there was nothing indicating that I should play on hard. I would almost never start a game and go to the hard difficulty.
No,
so
that doesn't sound like a good idea.
So I think it's kind of a misstep on them. But I think it is a really high quality game. I just think it's not for me.
When people were describing this game, I thought this was all you all over it, but I guess not. I mean,
yeah, I just don't like the tactical or the strategy RPGs, the combat in them.
Did you like the first couple Fire Emblems, or?
I've only ever played one of them on 3DS, and I don't know if I finished it or not. But if I did, it was short. But that's the only other experience I've had with Fire Emblem.
Okay.
I'll do one more and I'll let you guys go a little bit. There's a game called Dicey Dungeons. I don't know if you guys have heard of this.
Dicey Dungeons.
I'm trying to remember. The guy that made it has made several things, and now I'm blanking on everything. But it's kind of it's a roguelike where you play as a certain character, and then you build a deck of cards. Your cards are like your abilities, so like your attack or defend for this many, or do some status effect to the enemy, and the cards all have certain dice on them. So your attack might have a 3 on it, for instance. At the beginning of each round, you roll dice, and then based on your numbers, you put them on the cards that you want to do. So you do like. So, for instance, if it's that attack and you roll a 3, you can put your 3 on an attack, and then it'll attack the enemy for however many hit points damage. So it's really cool. I played through 3 of the 5 characters. I did a full run with them. The characters all have special abilities too, which are all different and unique.
We're watching a trailer of it
right now. It really changes the game depending on which character you're playing. Like the robot, for instance, is more of a slot machine than rolling dice, which kind of changes everything you're trying to do. But it's really cool. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I need to play through a ton of it, but it was really, really fun for what I did play it.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to go?
Sure. Jason and I just wrapped up a co-op of Wolfenstein Youngblood. It was fine.
That's kind of what I figured.
It wasn't like I'm not mad at it, but I'm also not like that was game of the year either, like kind of thing. Like it was a decent game.
Logan had some pretty. I don't know if you have details on that patch and what they changed, but there was a before and after that point for me anyway. But 2 things happened for us. One was the patch, and the other was we weren't applying the currency correctly, especially on weapons. And so once we upgraded the weapons and started to understand what weapons impact what enemies, that made a big difference for me anyway.
Me too.
Where we thought that it was a lot of bullet sponges, but they kind of started going down a little bit more reasonably.
So the menus, like when you were highlighted on the things, there was you'd be on a section of a gun, and then to the right there would be this thing that would say improve on the right side. And then when you tabbed over to that right side, it would say that it was locked out. But what we didn't know was, if you didn't tab over to the right and you just stayed on there and then you improved it from there, that's what actually improved it. So we didn't understand the UI of the menus to start with. So
that's
I think
awful design then.
So, and there's probably some people like, oh yeah, you guys are dumb. Like, okay, well that's 2 of us that have played a lot of video games that are that dumb.
Maybe there was maybe something in the legend at the bottom that we weren't seeing.
Maybe we didn't see it or something, but yeah.
Because once one of us hit A on that particular weapon, like
It was
that
like-
slot
yeah.
or whatever. Excuse me. I haven't unlocked that yet. And then we went to the right and we had enough currency. Oh, I'll just go ahead and upgrade that too. And so we
had
went
a
from
shit ton of currency.
yeah, we went from having like suboptimal weapons to then like
Overpowered.
more than enough.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we weren't just sinking ammo into these guys. They were going down. It's still a Wolfenstein game, and it always will be a little bit of like, I'm shooting this Nazi, and he's just not going down. I'm shooting him in the head.
Did the
He's
other
still not going
Wolfenstein
down.
games have weapon upgrades? I don't remember.
Not to this degree.
This one, I mean, that's the difference between Youngblood and everything they've done before, at least wise with the first two of this, I would assume, trilogy, or this 2.5
no
is like,
idea.
it's an RPG light.
Mhm.
So there's weapon upgrades and character upgrades.
Oh.
Because this is also Arcane.
Oh,
They
right.
did this, so it's Machine and Arcane together. So they kinda
Right,
did
and
this.
those are the Dishonored
Yeah,
people,
Dishonored
right?
guys, yeah. So it was different, but I mean, the other thing is the story was extremely backloaded.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there was almost no story in that game until the last hour and a half. of
How
a
long is
10
it total?
10-hour game.
10 hours?
But
and
like,
it's not the stuff at the end is pretty good.
yeah, it's good. It's just that you don't.
Oh, don't say that. I don't want to play this.
Well, I don't know.
Don't tell me
I
it's
don't
good.
know.
YouTube it or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that you might be
Because
better
there
off
is some
doing
significant stuff about BJ,
that probably will come into
their
effect.
mom.
There'll be a recap on the next game, so I'm not too worried.
Probably.
You're right. Probably. I think the twins are whatever it's worth. I don't know whether we're going to go back to just BJ or what, but the twins they're around. Like they are
Yeah.
a thing in this universe and they are sticking.
Gotcha.
So no matter what happens to BJ, they are like the lineage is set.
Okay.
And I don't know, honestly, I'm pretty good about paying attention to like critical recommendation, especially because time is what it is for me.
Right. Same here.
But I don't know how Youngblood was received. Like I'm totally in the dark.
Upper 70, like so. Yeah,
I don't think it was
like,
upper. I think it was like lower 70s.
Okay,
Yeah.
mid to lower 70s probably then. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of
So on the
That's
modern
kind of in
game
the
scale,
line.
that's not
not
that good.
yeah, and you know the thing is though, it's like game critics these days are a little too nice. So
Yep.
I would say that's on par. Probably.
yeah.
That's what
I
it
feel
should
like
be.
it's right there because I definitely it wasn't bad enough for us to stop playing,
No.
especially after that patch. What about the patch?
So
Talk about the patch.
So the thing is like each of the areas, like you had a hub world, and then you had to go out into these areas, and a lot of the areas were very repetitive. But the problem was
There's some Metroidvania going on with this one.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so you would go out into an area and you would have an objective on the map. You would go to that objective. There was like either something you had to do, to collect, or like a boss to beat or something in that area. But instead of just being able to go back to the hub world, you had to run back the way you came, come back the way you came. And then, but on the way back, all of the enemies were back. So you just got finished doing like fighting a boss,
Oh,
and then to
man.
get back, you had to fight through everything you just did to get back there. So the patch actually made it to where you could just go back to the catacombs, which was the hub world.
Okay.
All you had to do was press the back button and hit X, and you could go back to the hub world.
That seems like an oversight that they rectified.
Yeah. So the first half of the game, we didn't understand weapons, upgrades, and you had to go fly all the way back. I was almost just ready to quit because it was just driving me crazy. I was like, I don't even want to play this game anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
having fun. And then was like, oh, we figured out the weapon upgrades. Oh, now we can all of a sudden, and we didn't even know that either. It was all of a sudden one time I was just like, I pressed pause, the upgrade menu was like, and it was like X catacombs. Like we can go back. And sure enough, it worked as long as there wasn't enemies around. We could do that. And then after that, I'd heard someone talking on a podcast like, oh, yeah, things were a lot better after the patch where they fixed this. Like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah, the end of that game is actually pretty all right. I mean, it's tough.
it was hard. We died
But
in that last
it's a Wolfenstein
section.
game. The end of it, like it was,
Just like the normal difficulty.
yeah, and not. I mean, it was challenging, but it was also like not when we died. It was like, okay, we have to pay attention to this.
Yeah,
we have to pay attention to
okay.
that. We can't mindlessly just shoot.
We learned that there was like a jet that was flying on the outside that was shooting us because we were like fighting one last boss, and then it was like, oh, What's that shooting us? Oh, there's like this jet that flies in randomly every like 15 seconds and lights you up. So we had to go like hide behind
take cover, then flank, and then use one another to it was, I don't know, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm not upset.
Back in the box quote. It's fine.
It's fine. Master of unlocking. It's fine. Superb. 10 out of 10. Game of the year. It's fine. Oh, I want to make a trailer.
I didn't play it, says Caleb from Master of Unlocking.
I might put it on my top 10 just to make a little trailer for it now.
And then that's the video for it. It's fine.
It was recommended to me and I didn't play it. It's okay. We've talked about this a lot, and we'll talk about it more at the end of the year about how we handled this year and the stuff that we played. Mm-hmm. But I have felt upset about the time that I've spent playing things more recently, and I wasn't upset. And co-op, like your Borderlands point, I think it made it easier.
Games you can always double the enjoyment if you're playing co-op. Like it just for whatever reason, if you're able to talk through the bullshit parts of the game, it makes it way better.
Were just randomly just talking German stuff throughout the whole time. just randomly.
So angry.
Yeah,
it was
all these letters. Cake was served.
It's the Kirkswander. It's the Director Kraftwerk.
All right.
What else have we been playing? So I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh, right. You were playing that at PAX.
So I played that in the line at PAX.
I played that for about half an hour in line at PAX and was bored to tears.
So yeah, I will say the first hour of that sucks. Like, 'cause it's a little they drag out the tutorial a little much. But it's, after that, it's a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. Like, there's really not much else.
Is there trivia?
There is no trivia this time around.
Unbelievable.
There was. I didn't play the first ones.
Two Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. In the hub world, there was a hub.
Have you played any of the X-Men Legends games or Ultimate Alliance?
That's not the X-Men arcade game. Is it? Okay, that's different.
No,
I played that, but not the
X-Men Legends.
They're isometric.
Okay,
like
4-person beat 'em ups.
Nope.
They're real good.
Man.
They're real good.
Really, that's not my genre, and also that's kind of before I really...
I understand. I that's why I'm like, I can't even ask you to play it. But they're pretty good. And pretty novel idea when they came out. But the cool thing was trivia. And I always had Logan there getting me experience because he knew everything.
Yeah, so this hub world, you could go to like a computer and it would...
Stark
Tower, yeah. And it would just... And there'd just be random multiple choice trivia questions. Huh. And it was like ABXY was
real ass XP.
Yeah, and
were they like Marvel themed?
Yeah, they were all Marvel themed. Okay. Yeah, so everything was Marvel themed. So that's how I knew most of it, was because it was Marvel themed and I read all the comics.
Let me put it this way. We were talking a little bit about top 100 earlier.
Yeah.
I think that maybe all 4 of those games could squeak into my top 100.
They were real good.
Just because of how much fun we had.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
No, yeah, you're fine. But yes, that was a problem, that there was no real hub world with that. And you kind of just went through it. It's a slightly different retelling of the Infinity Saga, which everybody knows at this point because of the movies that have been out.
So these are not the likenesses of the cinematic universe in this game.
No, it's all the same people that are in it, but then they also threw the X-Men in there too, which I thought was interesting.
But it's not like you're not seeing Chris Pratt in there or anything like that.
And they're not even trying to match the characters up like the Square game that's coming out. Like they are very much a comic book versions of themselves. So that's... but it's a decent story. It was kind of nice having a different side of that story and going through things a little bit differently. So yeah, I had a good time with it. It was maybe another one of those games that was probably about 2 hours too long though.
Okay.
And there were sections that were like kind of just annoying, that were like, really, that this shouldn't be that hard. And I played it on easy and it was still hard at spots because sometimes the guys were just like,
Are you sure there wasn't an upgrade menu that you missed?
No, I did Google the upgrade. That's a good point. The one thing about that game that was a little weird was that as you got characters, because you unlocked characters as you went along, because you was like, oh, now you're in this world and now you've got these characters available to you. Well, those characters were usually like you would get them and they'd be like a level or two ahead of you. So they wanted you to constantly swap characters. But then if you left a character behind, then they didn't level up with you. So the only way to level up characters was if you had them out and playing with them. So they had to get kills and do all this other stuff to gain XP. There were other, like you would pick up items along the way that were XP boosts and stuff. So if you wanted to if you had a guy that you hadn't been playing with and all of a sudden want to play with, you could use a few items and catch him up. But it was like, you'd look at it and be like, yeah, my Thor's at a level 31. And if I want to play with the Hulk, he's at a 6.
Yeah. Well,
but if you were 31 and you just got to Wakanda and you unlocked Black Panther, he was a 32. So that was, but if you left those guys behind and didn't play with them to start with, yeah, forget it. You're not even going to have them.
So if you don't really care who's in your party and you just want to beat the game, you just play the ones that they unlocked last.
You could, yeah. Or if you just got favorites, just keep your favorites with you.
Okay.
And then the way that there was also boosts for having characters of like, so if you used all X-Men, you got a boost for having all X-Men. If you
I almost don't like that though, because that discourages you from kind of mixing and matching.
There was other things. It was like, oh, you like the power guys, like, so it was
okay.
like, and so you didn't always have to be that way. Then there was like girl power, so you had all girls in your lineup.
That probably would have been what my synergy was
girl power.
Yeah, I would probably just used all girls.
I know. I used Captain Marvel for quite a while. I think I actually did stick with Captain Marvel for the most part. I think I had Iron Man, Captain America, Thor.
They combined their powers.
Captain Marvel.
Sack Island! It's just like, oh, shit.
Oh, man. So, yeah. I had fun with it. But it was just,
that was the hub world you missed.
I missed the hub world.
Zack Island.
That was, Zack Island.
Yeah, that's where, yep.
Mm-hmm. I'll just hit on this really quick just because I somehow didn't finish it, but I forgot to finish Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, right.
So
we talked a lot about that though.
We talked a lot about it.
And it's on Game Pass now?
It is. That's actually why I went back. I was like,
easy.
Oh, hey, Devil May Cry's on Game Pass. Oh, shit, I never finished that. I was on like chapter 16, so I literally had 4 chapters.
Oh, man, you're right there.
So I don't know what it was and how I forgot about it, but I went back.
It's the best part of the game.
It really was. Because you finally
from a character perspective, in my opinion.
I preferred playing as Dante.
Man, it's been a while, but I remember it being a little frustratingly hard for me. But
there was a couple spots that were a little hard, but I made it through. I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, I beat it, but just the areas where you played as Dante were just a step above everything else.
Oh yeah,
so they were super sexy, stylish.
Super sexy, stylish. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Triple S.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yes. But yeah,
that game's real good. I like that game.
Okay, game's good. What else to play? Oh yeah, so something we've at least all touched at this point. Untitled Goose Game.
I finished it.
You finished it.
It's only 2 hours long.
So. I know. I'm probably
what a feat.
I know. I'm on the 3rd area right now.
So you're over halfway.
So yeah. So with I first got it, and I was like, oh, here. I went to show my daughter the game, and she was like, can I play? And so she started playing it. And she played on, so she's got her own save.
I guess, yeah. If it's a young child, maybe it would be longer than 2 hours, but
right.
Yeah.
And she's actually done. I mean, she's picked up on it pretty well. There, so she was.
I'm not saying like to the fact that like she's not gonna be able to figure out the puzzles, but just the fact that she probably gets amusement out of just running around and honking.
She just that's exactly it. She just wants to run around, wah, 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 wah. Like it's just funny to walk around as an asshole goose. Like that's a lot of fun. So yeah, she's I think midway through the 2nd area. She's only played it like once or twice, in little like 15-minute bursts. So yeah, but yeah, it's exactly what I thought it would be. Other than
it's so much fun.
It's fun. I just wish it was a little bit more, but at the same time, that's fine.
It's a great game. It is a excellent game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun so far. So
yeah. The end of it, I was just. Because you're really not sure what the goose's motivation is.
Oh no!
The whole time, and you find out at the end, and I was rolling laughing.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Really?
It's so good.
Wow, he's got motivations.
I didn't realize
had no idea. I thought he was just a goose. I thought he was just an asshole.
There's a part that I should add that to our moment of the year
Okay,
list
we'll get to
because
it here.
there's
the end of Goose Game. Is that just going to be okay?
Yep.
I'm definitely going to finish it here. I mean, it's only been out for a week now, so it's just been one of those.
I took the day off to wait for my iPhone to arrive, so as soon as it came out, I downloaded it and played through it like immediately.
It's a lot of fun though.
How much is it retailing for?
It's $20 normally, but it's $15 on sale if you get it in the first couple weeks, I think.
Yeah. And Steam,
I'm willing to throw $15 at that.
Absolutely.
Steam and Switch, right?
Yeah.
Maybe on Epic Game Store too, whatever.
It is on, it's an AGS exclusive, which
it's an exclusive, so
which will probably piss people off, but
I didn't know that.
I think it is. I know it's on there, so I assume it is.
Does that launcher work on Mac?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Yeah.
There you go.
It has to, because I know that it said that the game is available on Mac, so it has to.
Then that launcher has to be on Mac.
Yeah. There you go. Jason, you got anything you want to throw in there before?
I guess I've played something that you guys haven't.
Oh, yes.
The Dark Pictures anthology,
right.
Man of Medan.
So you have?
I
have been playing. I'm about 2 hours into it.
Okay.
It is what let's put it this way. The first 10 minutes of that game on that submarine, I was like, this game is trash. I thought it was.
Oh, when you go underwater and you find the wreck.
Like that's the first intro of the game, and like you start off with like the two soldiers, and they're in the bar.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah.
No, yeah. So like the first 10 minutes of that game, it looked bad. It acted bad. The guys' character models were bad. I was like, is this seriously going to be this game? Because I immediately I thought it was just Until Dawn, and that game was, and Until Dawn was great, but the first 10 minutes of Man of Medan is bad. But then it gets into like the modern day. And then then I was like, okay, this is what I came here for. I am at the point where I just got on the ship.
Oh, okay. So
I'm an hour and a half maybe in.
Are on the wreckage, right? You went diving. Came back
up, and now the thing happened.
The thing, right? Okay.
And then now we're on the boat. So that's where
everyone alive?
Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did you make it through with everybody?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know.
Right. So I mean, did you enjoy it?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's a Wolfenstein. It's fine. Is it better than Wolfenstein?
It's different. Is that our baseline? Is it our baseline average game from here on out?
I think so. It's like, is it Wolfenstein?
Better or worse than Wolfenstein?
You know what's good? What about those games is like if someone turned it on and you didn't know what you were about to play, but you know what you're getting. It is that dev doing its thing.
Yeah,
with like pretty high quality visuals and good facial animations and real actors, and so But
Peter Stormare's not in this one, right?
Yeah, which immediately like loses it a few points.
Yeah,
right.
He's been replaced. How about can we talk about the intro to that game?
Where
he's just walking around, the curator, whatever his name is.
So weird, yeah.
And it's like heavy metal music.
It's
a remix of what is that death song? Death.
Yeah.
The one from Until Dawn?
Is that an Until Dawn
I think it
original?
is. I think it's just called Oh Death.
Oh, really?
I think it's just
when I heard that, I was like, where have I heard this before? And now I was thinking like, is this like an actual song? And it's just like a heavy metal version of Oh Death. And he's literally just walking up and down some hallways.
Like a library.
It looks like a library.
Yeah.
And so he opens these books and he tells these stories from his books, which is why the anthology will do what it's going to do. And it's just weird. It's super weird. If you don't play it, Caleb, you should look at the intro of it. Because it's just so tonally different than everything else. I might
try to sneak it in before we talk for Game of the Year, but we got so much coming up here now that
it is short, with a capital S.
So like, how much do I have left?
Oh, dude, you're like 70%. I feel
really
like.
Already?
I mean, depending upon how much time you spend in that area where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, if you decide you want to learn some stuff about the ship and what happened and the actual story, you might be reading some things and getting collectibles.
Okay.
But if you go from point A to point B and just
So
do
you're
those
looking at like a
QTEs,
3-hour game, maybe.
dude, it's like 3, 4 max.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I
if I'm already an hour,
If you
I'm
collect
pushing
everything,
2
it's probably
already.
like 6. If you collect everything and
Oh,
take your
yeah, there are some
time,
collectible things in there.
so it's fine. It's hard to compare it to Until Dawn, but I think I liked Until Dawn better for sure.
Okay.
Until Dawn was like number 6 or something on my game of the year that year.
I think it was like number 10 for me, like right at the end of the list. But yeah,
I think I had some recency bias maybe with that game when we were looking at that because it was just something I hadn't done before.
It was
Yeah.
it's
Well,
in
that game's
5
unique,
to 10 for
right?
me
Yeah.
too.
It also had Rami Malek in it. It had a legit actor.
Peter Stormare,
Yeah.
Rami Malek.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were any other actors
the
in
girls.
there.
There was one girl. That
there was
in it.
one of the girls that was, I don't
She
remember who it was,
somebody-
but
it wasn't Kristen Bell, was it?
no.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Oh well, yeah, that's what I forgot you started that. So yeah, Caleb, you want to get back to your list? It's probably
Donkey Kong 64 is the game that I played.
Go on. Tell me about this
Why?
new game you played.
This is a brand new game from Rare.
Rare.
Yeah,
Got it. Yeah.
I don't know why they released a game on Nintendo 64 at this in
At this
2019,
time,
but
right.
whatever. So I don't know why. I love collectathon games. I love them. So I 100% at Donkey Kong 64.
Well done. As one does.
It was it was just so relaxing to come home from work and just like get a bunch of golden bananas and then go to bed. It was great for like a week straight. That's all I did.
That sounds fucking awesome.
Hayden Panettiere was.
Oh, right, yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Wrong short blonde.
Heroes.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
I do not recommend Donkey Kong 64.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Was that better than Wolfenstein?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't know.
Well,
yet.
I don't.
You don't know. You don't have
I
that
know.
baseline. You need to get that baseline
oops,
knowledge out there.
Not Siri. Don't do Siri. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
Way to hold him to it, Logan.
Yeah.
You just held the man hostage.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Did you guys play Her Story when it came out several years ago?
No.
I'm familiar with what her
Yeah.
story is, though.
Well, there's a new game in that by that same guy or girl.
It's her.
Girl?
Isn't
She was the developer
dev?
too, right?
She was that like the actress in that was also the. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, new game called Telling Lies.
Oh, you've played that?
Yeah. It's really
Go
cool.
on.
It's really cool. So
Yeah.
instead of there being like, there's not just one interview this time. It's a series of, I guess, like Skype calls, and you're only seeing one side of the call. So there's, if somebody is giving a really long speech, then you could be literally staring at somebody that's just saying nothing. That's just like sitting there waiting to respond. So you're kind of trying to match up the two sides of the Skype call. So you're kind of listening for a keyword. Like if somebody is like, for instance, oh yeah, I like spaghetti. Then what you would type into the search engine is spaghetti, because you know they probably said, do you like spaghetti? That'll bring up that other side of the conversation. You can kind of hear both sides. And you're trying to, there's like 4 or 5 main characters in it. You're trying to piece together everything that's going on. I don't want to say anything about the story because that's the whole point of this. But I was pretty engaged with it, and I did the whole thing in just a couple of nights. It's longer than Her Story. And I thought the story was really cool. There's also a bunch of different endings, and I got one ending and I'm like, that's fine. I don't need to, like, I will stay with my one ending, just to kind of, to cap off the story that I got. And yeah, it's really cool. I liked it a lot.
I saw some review materials on that and thought it looked really interesting. So I'm glad. And you finished it? Yes,
I
you
did,
said.
yep. Mm-hmm.
How much time?
Probably like 7 or 8 hours.
7 or 8 hours. So
nice.
a good amount of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that just Steam, Epic, or whatever?
It is PC only. I played it on Steam. I'm not sure exactly where
That's fine.
all the stores are, but yeah.
As soon as you said telling lies, I blacked out and I just started going, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Remember that song at all?
No.
No,
damn it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you sing more of it?
Yeah.
No. Oh, no, you can't do it.
What's next?
Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Go ahead.
I played the first disc of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Also
I
PC only, right?
No, it's
Is that
on everything, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing it on Switch.
Okay.
I played it on the way back from PAX on the plane.
Okay.
It was very good for that. It just made the time kind of evaporate.
Sure.
I like that game a lot. I don't know if I've ever beaten Final Fantasy VIII. I know I've played a ton of it, but I cannot remember the ending of that game. So I'm going to try to finish it at some point. Right now, I kind of put it to the side because there's so much other stuff. And it's that was out in 98, right? So we're talking like a 20-year-old game at this point. I should play the new stuff, right? But
you should finish it though.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try really hard, and I think the remaster looks really good. And there's also a couple of really cool like cheat things you can do that they just built in. Like if you click both sticks, both analog sticks in at the same time, random battles just get turned off. So if you don't want to do random battles, just turn that off and then walk through. If you press, it's one of the sticks. If you press it, you just get full HP, MP, and your limit breaks. So if you're just stuck in a battle, you just do that. Just kind of cheat your way through it. They make it really easy to just get through this game if you just want to see the story, which is cool.
That is cool. Good for.
I think there's also the other stick. I think is a 3x. Like you just move 3 times faster, and battles all go 3 times faster.
That's really smart.
Right.
How much is that? Do you know?
I don't remember.
20-ish?
I think it's like 20.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
That sounds fair.
Logan, for your sake, I played through Life is Strange 2, episode 4. You could probably just stop playing that game. It's not very good. And now our video is flagged.
Way to go.
That is not a lie.
Lindsey Buckingfield just flagged us for copyright. Lindsey Buckingham. Buckingham is the guitar player.
Logan?
Yep.
Just stop it.
Just stop.
Just stop it.
All right. Anyway, let's see. Other games we've been playing. Because I can't actually, finish a game at this point. I'm also playing Blair Witch.
Is that any good?
It's God damn it! I keep saying
no. Jason's shaking his head.
Did you
no.
touch it, Jason?
Yeah, I played like 3 hours of it.
Okay. I think I've probably played maybe 2 hours of it. I'm on like chapter 8. So if you'd mess with the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like the last things I've done. So I'm back to the campsite again. Okay. So you're farther than that then. Okay. And it's not worth it.
I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah. And that game reminds me of a not as good Observer. It's about to become very abstract.
Oh, it's about to become that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And increasingly more abstract. And I don't know. I think that I was coming off some other pretty high tier games. And then I jumped into that, and there was kind of a noticeable dip in quality, just overall. And I don't know. It's got the fatal frame thing where, like, if there's danger, you kind of just you use your light, right, to attack the enemies.
It's kind of fatal frame / Alan Wake because you're using a flashlight.
It's aiming to be a psychological thriller, and I just could not, for the life of me, I just could not embrace it. And maybe it's more me problem than Blair Witch's problem, but combine mediocre visuals, and
there are parts that look good, and then there are parts that look really bad.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It goes. It's it's one
It
extreme
feels
or
like
the other.
it feels like a budget Game Pass game.
Mhm.
Like it's just that's how it feels. And I'm trying not to. I'm trying
Which
to
is
hold
kind of
it
a
to,
new genre.
Yeah, because it's lower than AA at this point. I don't know. Not for me. I'm sure that people have found some redeeming quality in the story.
I will say that I was legitimately terrified at the monster.
So when you first use the light to defend yourself?
When you first, because I'm down in my dark-ass basement with the surround sound on and just okay, where the hell is this thing? And the way that they present it with this kind of not really spooky music, but there's kind of this just terrifying stuff. Your dog is freaking out.
Yeah.
It's okay, where the hell is this thing? You're trying to look around and find it, and you can't really find it very well. And I thought that was well done, but then again, it's I don't know if that's going to happen very much either. It doesn't seem like it's probably going to come across too often because whatever this monster is, you don't ever get a good look at it either.
Okay, you just confirmed I won't be playing this game.
I don't know. I'm sure there's
if there's a scary monster, I'm out.
You're out of scary monsters.
And those moments are going to be a little more watered down because it just becomes more and more. I don't know. Like I said, less grounded over time. You're going to start just kind of.
It really just. I mean, they kind of just throw you in the middle of a forest and they're like, "Here, go look for this kid."
Yeah, and it doesn't. It just turns into something. It turns into something else.
Oh,
which is fine. Maybe you should play it and see for yourself.
I'll give it another hour or two and see how it goes. I think the game's only 4 or 5 hours long.
Yeah, I think you're a third of the way.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm on chapter 8 of 17 is what I looked up, so I'm at least over. I don't know how the length of chapters can be different, but that's
sometimes chapter 17 will be twice as long as every other chapter or something.
Yeah, so you just never know.
I know I'm done. Last night I looked at the end of it just because I was curious how the story would wrap because I just didn't
care to play it any longer.
Yeah, I'm just kind of done. I don't want to play it anymore.
That's fair. I'm
sure that there is an audience for that stuff. There's a lot of Observer in there. There's inspiration from Observer sure.
I'm not too familiar with the Blair Witch stuff, but is there a big Blair Witch universe type of thing?
I've never watched a Blair Witch movie, so I don't know. Was there more than one?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
think that there's just the one. Yeah,
the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, the Blair Witch Project.
I don't know.
It's got a cool mechanic in there with your camera. I think that's a neat thing where you pick up the camcorder and you find a video and then you put it in the camcorder and you watch it and it actually impacts the things around you depending upon where your timeline is at.
Okay.
And it helps you solve puzzles. And that's pretty
kind of Resident Evil kind of, right?
Okay. Yeah, it is. That's neat.
Like a tree, it has fallen, and if you rewatch it back, the tree is up.
So it's actually changing things.
The environment.
It's not just giving you hints.
The environment.
Okay. It's
okay.
If you rewind it back far enough, you'll see that the tree is up.
Gotcha.
And now you can move past that tree,
which is a cool mechanic. I just think the quote unquote combat.
Yeah, I mean, they don't give you any combat. I mean, you just have your flashlight, right?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's you encounter this thing and you're defending yourself, and then you die, and it's just kind of anticlimactic when that happens.
It was because when I died, I was just kind of oh, it just spit me right back here, and it really didn't even do anything other than just because you never get actually attacked. You never see the monster. It's just your screen goes red, and then you're gone, and then you just magically pop back to
it's like Fatal Frame, but not quite as good in that way.
Fatal Frame was just okay.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Yeah, and I think that the quote unquote, like I said, combat in Fatal Frame is a little bit stronger. So yeah, I'm not going to finish that, but I don't want to. Logan, if you're enjoying it, I don't want to.
I'm not
try to derail you
oh my
here.
Gosh, this game's great, but I'm early enough in. I feel that I'm still okay. There's maybe something here. I'll give it a little. Because I ended at that second campsite.
Yeah, I think if you're enjoying it enough to finish it, at least wise, that would be good to see what, especially since how short it is. One of us could at least wise see it through because I'm out.
Yeah, I guess if I'm gonna do.
I think from the sounds of it, I'm out too. So it's all on you.
Okay, that's fair. Jason, what do you got left? I know you got one big one left.
I have 2 games that I've played. Caleb, how large is your list?
I have 4 left, and one of them I'll talk more about next time because I'm currently playing it.
Okay. I played a lot of Gears 5 Team Deathmatch.
Okay. We did Act 1 of the story in Gears 5.
What do you think so far?
I like it.
How many acts do we know? 5?
There's 5.
There's always
5 or 4?
I don't know.
There's 5, and I believe 5 is short.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I thought there were 4, but I think
there's
wrong.
4 acts, and then 5 is like there's acts and there's chapters within the acts, and I think Act 5 is like 1 chapter.
Have you played any of the campaign or just
no?
Okay,
we're gonna play it together.
It has kind of so you're kind of upgrading Jack, the little robot dude, as you go. And the only thing I don't like about it is they do kind of force you to use certain upgrades on him for certain things. So the one we ran into early was you get to pick between the first one you get with him is a ping. So it pings out stuff in the environment like enemies, like stuff you can pick up.
Tagging.
Stuff, yeah. So it kind of shows you just a little icon where everything is just in your vision. So we really like that. So we use that constantly, and we upgraded it a couple of times. And then the second one you get, which can be traded out for your ping, is a shield. So you press it and you get a shield for a limited time. And there's these spots on the ground where there's fire. And we were like, we must have wandered around for like 20 minutes. Like, how do we get around this fire? There's nowhere else to go. There's no other paths to go. And then we're like, I finally looked it up, and somebody was like, oh yeah, use the shield and just run through the fire. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I looked that up because we probably would have not done that. But then we were like, oh wait, we have to constantly be switching between the shield and the ping. Like, we thought we could just kind of, it would be a choice, your loadout. But other than that, really liking it. I think it's the classic Gears.
More Gears.
Yeah,
it's good Gears.
It's good Gears.
It's not Judgment Gears.
Yeah, exactly.
And even Judgment wasn't that bad.
I'm excited to play that when we get to it.
Yeah, I know. It's. I think we were gonna play it last night, and then you pulled me for bar trivia. So
the multiplayer runs really well. You would expect that. It's
running at 60. It looks real good.
Yeah, it looks good. It feels like Gears. They've done some really nice balancing things to try to make it a little more
less rolly shotgun.
Yeah, I mean that stuff is still there for sure, but I think that they've done a good job of making it accessible for new players that are trying to get into it. There's a game mode where you can kind of you progress through and unlock weapons as you fight, and so no one has a shotgun in that game mode. So if you decide that you're going to be annoyed by typical Lancer shotgun loadout that everybody has, you can use other weapons, and no one at the beginning of that match has a Nasher, and they purchase it by downs and by kills. So you acquire points, and then you use those points to purchase those weapons, and then you can upgrade to a Nasher. And then I think the Nasher ammo in there is like 5, so it's pretty low compared to the typical TDM loadout, which I think is 12.
Oh yeah.
So it's really good. I think I'm going to be playing a lot of that. I really, really, really enjoy the way it feels. I don't know what, maybe it's just tuned just right.
It's going to pull you away from MK finally?
I think I'll probably do both of those consecutively. Yeah. I can't do MK right now because I broke my finger, which is why I've played games, honestly, because as soon as this pen comes back out and my fingernail grows somewhat, I'll probably go back to MK, but I'm nervous about playing Quick Twitch MK with this.
Yeah.
I can't quite trust myself to behave or not punch the sofa.
Right.
I'm still very into. So what I've done is I just continue to watch Mortal Kombat Pro. I watch the Mortal Kombat YouTube channel, and they do all the pro events and have pretty good commentary. It's guys that are really passionate about the community and are really educated on the game. Like, they know what they're talking about, which is this is my first foray into like esports consumption. We've talked about that a lot, but they've taught me so much about Mortal Kombat, and these are things that I knew, but I wouldn't know how to articulate. And like a good example is a whiff punish. And
Okay.
what that is when someone attacks another guy with a move or a combo, and they whiff, the other guy sees it, they pull their character back. So they're going for this move in the combo, and they don't get any block at all. They just whiff. And then there's range punishment off of that. And so there's different punishment for when you are being attacked by someone and they're sort of just like brute force block, 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 block. There is a larger window for whiff punish if you can draw yourself back and not block. So what you've done is you're vulnerable as you pull yourself away. But if you get away from this particular move, it might as well be like Scorpion's old spear or Cyrax's net. Because when they're done with that move, they are like open as open can be. Way more open than if they were just to stop a combo that you've blocked. So I'm holding block, I'm getting barraged. You can do damage off of that, but your window is less and your damage will be less. But if you back up and you're not blocking and you're vulnerable and they whiff, then you go in and some of the combos are like 40%, 45% of the life bar. And it's been really interesting to watch high-level pros choose, am I going to block this guy and respond for smaller damage? Or am I going to back away and not block and be smart enough to try to avoid that move? Because if you don't avoid it, you're going to give away 30% right away. But if you do avoid it, you can hit him back with like 40, 45% if you're a high-level pro that knows these combos and don't drop these combos. And it's been... like, as I've learned that and was taught that by these, I don't know, what do you call them? Broadcasters? They're not shoutcasters. I don't even know what you...
just a legitimate broadcasters.
Casters,
Yeah.
whatever the term is. Like, they've taught me so much about it. And since I can't really play it right now without worrying about hurting my finger, it's been like a nice way to supplement that. So I'll watch like a few matches a night on these big tournaments, and I've just kind of watched the tournaments as they roll out.
I had kind of a similar experience with Dota 2.
Oh, really?
Because the international happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I got kind of into it, and so I learned so much about Dota through that. I still don't know anything about Dota.
They put a lot of resources into that broadcast, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And I like after it was all said and done, I was like, you know what? I might keep an eye on the Dota scene whenever there's a tournament. I might keep an eye on it. Tried to watch another one, and I was like, this is not good. Like it's the level of production at TI just spoiled me. I don't think I can watch lower tier Dota at this point.
There's been a little bit of that with the Mortal Kombat stuff that is released. What they'll do for online tournaments, they'll still broadcast them, but it will be the commentators in their home. And so they'll go to their webcams while the matches are being set up. And the production quality, like it still has like the graphics around them and everything, but the windows are just them like at home, like with NetherRealm stuff behind them or whatever, t-shirts, whatever. But when they're there at the tournament, it is like a little bit better to feel.
And there's a crowd.
There's a crowd, right? And they're kind of talking to each other, and everybody's really energetic. And like when someone pulls off a move, it's like the crowd goes nuts. And you get deeper into the tournament, and you start to know the players. Like there's always like these same like 16 guys.
Was the top and
the patches have changed things. The other day they released a third.
This all sounds very familiar.
They released a third variant the other day. So now there's going to be even more variants on top of that. So there have been guys that were struggling in the first half of the season that have found a new character with a new variation and have found a way in. Yes, they found a way into like the top 16s and the top 8s, and they're taking down some of the players that have dominated for the whole year that are still rocking the same players. And some of those characters have been nerfed a little bit.
Yeah,
and so
balancing stuff,
right? So early tournament winners have like still playing the same players and they're finding success, but they're not top 8, top 4. They're getting knocked out by guys that are playing newer patch characters. It's really like it's been really entertaining for me to watch, and it's something I never thought I would do.
Yeah,
never. But that's how much I enjoy Mortal Kombat 11. Not only playing it, but watching it,
consuming all things MK.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah. It's been nice because I can't play it.
Right.
So
Yeah. You got one other game, right?
yeah, Caleb, how's your list?
Go ahead.
Did we get you? Okay.
I'm almost done.
Okay, good. I have played and completed Control.
I'm very excited to do that. I've got plans to do that next weekend.
I'm gonna start it this weekend. I am borrowing a video card from a friend, and I'm going to.
Oh,
play
you're
this.
just like borrowing a 1080 Ti.
I'm borrowing a 2080 Ti.
2080 Ti.
Oh wait,
Oh, boy.
it might not be a Ti. It might just be a 2080.
2080, yeah.
But yeah,
Good for you.
yeah. I'm excited to play because I've heard it looks gorgeous on PC with all the settings up. So
That's a way to do it. I've heard also that it's
Yeah.
bad on those entry level consoles.
Yeah, that's what I heard
Yep.
too. Is the
which is what I have. I just have
because you don't have an
base
X
ones,
or
yeah.
a Pro. Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing, I think. Because even on the X, it runs a little rough at times.
Really?
Even on the X. Yeah. So
I've only played. I played a 20-minute demo of it on a Pro at PAX. That was it. So I mean, what I played seemed fine. But did you enjoy it?
We should probably table the majority of this conversation for the next podcast.
So you enjoyed it.
I think
That
it's
was
really
all.
good.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. So
I have a feeling we're all going to have things to say about it.
I think the thing to keep in mind is that I used the word abstract earlier. And the narrative is a little bit tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't care that it throws you into the deep end. Like you're going to learn about Jessie and her story and where she's from and why she's there and all that stuff. But it's just like, it just throws you in there.
That's Remedy.
And it's up to you. It's up to you what you get out of the story. It's totally up to you. There's a lot of collectible stuff.
A lot of story-based collectible stuff.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
right. There's lots of literature to churn through if you care. And also, like, it doesn't necessarily mean everything. Like, you may have assumptions based on something you read earlier, and then it could totally flip that on its head and make it meaningless, or not, depending upon you, the player, which I think is maybe part of the reason I haven't talked to anyone about this, and I haven't even read a single review of Control. But I think what you get out of Control is up to you based on two things: how you're willing to embrace or not embrace the story, and how you upgrade Jessie.
Okay.
And I think upgrading Jessie, not the proper way, I won't use that, but you have to really cater to your own playstyle. There's only so much XP, we'll call it, ability points to play with, and I would make sure that you're happy with what you're choosing. Because if you chose the wrong thing, or maybe unintentionally upgraded a tree that you didn't want to upgrade, I could see it could really, you're in danger zone. Like,
and there's no respec.
No.
Okay.
You can't even pay your way out of that with currency or ability points either. Like, you might just have to side mission your way to the tree that you want to upgrade. So
is it all like visible from the start?
No.
Okay, so you really do have to.
You
kind of,
when I heard it,
kind of gotta,
blind.
yeah. You just kind of choose, right, and you'll unlock abilities as you go on. And that's the other thing, is that Control doesn't quite reveal itself until maybe like halfway through the game.
Okay.
Even maybe even like the 75% as far as new abilities are still being introduced way deep into the game.
And there's abilities that are missable. Like, you can just blow past them. There's some of them that are just on the side. That was when I was doing my demo of it. The lady was like trying to skirt me away from this thing, and I was like, "There's something back there. I know there is." She's like, "We'll come back to it then," and because there was nobody in line, then she was like, "Okay, yeah, you can go back to that thing now." And it was an ability. But yeah, it was like,
interesting.
Yeah, because she was trying to steer me away from it and steer me towards the storyline mission. I think it was.
It'll silo you into that.
It will eventually.
Yeah,
okay.
it'll make you go do that eventually. Yeah, but it is a story mission. Like, the abilities reveal themselves in story missions. So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's like PsyOps on steroids. It's like modern day PsyOps.
Good.
And it is fun. Lots of fun to play.
Cool. We'll talk more about that next time too.
I'm excited to play it. Yeah. All right. What else do you have, Caleb?
Link's Awakening. It's Link's Awakening.
It's a nice looking Link's Awakening.
Really nice looking Link's Awakening.
That art style is really
That's
cool.
one of my favorite games ever. So I am really enjoying it. I'm forcing myself not to just burn through it in one sitting.
And actually sit and enjoy it.
Yeah. But it's really good. I'm like halfway through it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, how does it run?
People keep saying that they have stuttering issues. I haven't noticed that, but I don't really have that discerning of an eye for that sort of thing either. I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I haven't had any problems with it, but other
Some
people
of what
are
I've heard
reporting,
is like docking versus handheld there.
Oh.
So
I've
are you
played
playing a dock?
both, and I kind of switch back and forth depending on what else is going on the TV. And I haven't had a problem either way, but like I said, that's not something I normally see. That's not something I normally care about. So
Okay.
it may be happening to me and I'm just not noticing it, to be honest.
All right.
Two more things here. I played through a game called Eliza. It is a visual novel by Zachtronics. Have you guys heard of Zachtronics?
I know Zach Island.
So normally what they do is they do like programming games. So you're literally writing code to solve problems, and they always have like a cool universe around them. But in this game, they decided to just do the cool universe and not the programming parts.
Okay.
So you play as a girl who takes a job as an Eliza counselor. And Eliza is an AI program that is a therapy counseling, like a psychiatrist almost, but it's all AI. And the way that it works is that it tells the counselor a script, so that they relay those exact words. So the whole point is like when you go in for a therapy session, you're talking to an actual person, but it's an AI in the background actually feeding them what to say.
Oh, wow.
And it goes in some directions that I didn't expect. It makes you think a lot about AI and the future of computing and where we're heading with some of this stuff. Really thought-provoking. I really enjoyed playing it. It's pretty short, too. Like 4 hours, something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot.
I was looking at some video on it. Yeah, it looks like it's a thinker.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last thing I played that's on my list is it's an iOS game. I signed up for the Game Pass thing.
Oh, the arcade thing?
Oh,
Apple
yeah,
Arcade.
Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I thought about that and I was like, I looked through the games. I wasn't sure.
There's a bunch of really cool stuff that looks really cool in there. But the one I started with was a game called Assemble with Care. And it's a narrative game. You're playing through a story of a girl who is a repair person. So people bring her stuff to fix, like a clock or a stereo or whatever it is. But there's always like a narrative reason why they're bringing it to you and why it's important. So the gameplay part is that you literally like turn screwdrivers and open these things up, replace the broken parts and put it back together, which is really like relaxing in a weird way.
Okay.
Like
that's interesting.
You're taking this projector apart and there's a broken light bulb in there. So you unscrew the broken light bulb and you screw in the one that works, stuff like that. It's really cool. I don't think that the actual story is anything special. It's pretty, it's fine. Whatever. It moves along the story fine, but it's not anything that's going to be, especially after playing Eliza, where I was like, this is just a story about some people and they had some problems and now their problems are solved. Just didn't do a lot for me in that regard.
It's interesting how, depending upon game adjacent, right? Like
right.
What you've played previously before I don't know. I went from Control to Blair Witch. And so it's like
that's your drop in
right.
quality.
But yeah, it's cool. And if you have any interest in fixing things, like if that's something you enjoy doing, then pick this up. And I mean, especially if you already have the iOS thing.
Because you're getting a free month. Whenever you decide to do it, you get a free month. It's $5 a month.
I was going to ask the cost. I wasn't sure.
They're doing that, and then Apple TV Plus is $5 a month too. But I think everybody gets a free month. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think not everybody gets a free month on Apple TV Plus though. Right?
I don't think
only
so.
If
Just
you buy a new device. Yeah. But everybody gets a free month on Apple Arcade.
Yeah. There's some cool stuff that I'm curious to check out on there.
Yeah, there was Choo Choo Rocket
Yeah.
is on there.
It seems like really good stuff to play kind of while something's on TV.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So no what other games, right? I think we're all.
That's it for me.
Nope, I actually played games.
Oh no, you have another game?
No, I said I actually played.
Oh yes, you actually played something other than Mortal Kombat.
Other than
this
Mortal
month.
Kombat.
I'm proud of you.
Thank
We
you.
are very proud of
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
guys.
like you went through a lot of stuff.
Well,
I'm
you know, I had to
impressed.
break my finger.
You know
and
what?
then here
I'm glad you broke your finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah.
We secretly
Pretty extreme, Caleb. Hired gun.
Yeah,
Goes to the
that's-
gym.
It was only $20. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Jesus God. Arrest this man.
We had a few news things to hit on. I think the big news, at least of the week, is The Last of Us has a release date.
Did that surprise you guys? Because it surprised me.
That it was gonna be.
I don't know. For whatever
21st.
reason, I thought it would just be a PS5 launch game. I had that in my head. So
I would say that based on some of the stuff we saw, it had been a year ago now at E3 when they did that weird thing.
that's true. They have shown it for a while.
They've shown it for a
now.
while, but I will say that I mean, it is an E3 demo, but based on what we've seen of gameplay now versus what we saw then, that's a big difference.
Really?
This looks like a PS4 game. That looked like a PS5 game.
Gotcha.
The gameplay that they showed us a year and a half ago at E3, that looked like a PS5 game. This looks like, PS4.
Okay.
There was some stuff in the way
I haven't
that
seen that new footage.
The way that I remember specifically the way that you were in like a store and that she moved around a cabinet, or not really cabinet.
Oh, right. Like a display case?
A display case
Yeah.
type thing. There was stuff that like interacted on that display case that I was like, that nobody's doing that right now. Like that's not a thing.
And like the reaction from the NPC was, it was like, wow, what if that happens in a different spot? Is it all dynamic like that?
It was like super dynamic in the way that worked. And I was like, there's no way that's going to work. But then you see what there's footage out there now today. Some of the outlets were able to get some footage and put that out there. And it looks like the PS4 remaster of The Last of Us.
We're kind of looking almost like a 2017 spring coming up here. Because we have Last of Us and Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy all in the spring. Mm-hmm. Like, man, it's going to be...
There's a lot of heavy hitters this spring, that's for sure. And I mean, this fall's got a few things left, but nothing... just even looking at the schedule for what's left of this fall of things I want to play, where did I put that? Oh, I put it in my thing, my checkbox list of things.
We got Call of Duty.
Yeah, there's Call of Duty, Luigi's Mansion 3,
Death Stranding,
Doom Eternal.
I don't know. That's stuff.
That's stuff. It's just The Outer Worlds.
Yeah. It's not
any of
the three I
those.
just
Right.
said.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. I guess if I'm looking at that, like, okay, because and they put out some Call of Duty stuff. That looks okay. The weird thing I saw out of that was that the Spec Ops game type or whatever is exclusive to PlayStation for a year.
Yeah, for a full year.
Like usually it's like 3 months or whatever, but a whole year is a long time.
That is a lot.
Like,
That sucks.
I guess
if you're interested in that and you play on Xbox, that sucks.
Yeah. So I guess that's what they were going for though. They paid for that exclusivity, so you get what you pay for, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know how much they paid him for that, but
As with every Call of Duty game, I will rent it and play through the campaign and then
over the
return
weekend and return it. Yep. That kind of sounds like what I'll do as well. Because it's called Modern Warfare, but it's not a remake of Modern Warfare. It's a new Modern Warfare, but it's still Soap, right? Or no?
Soap and Price and all those
Price,
guys, right?
Price, that was, I think it's,
I don't know if it's Soap, but it's definitely Price.
Price is definitely in that game, yeah.
Could be. I don't know.
I don't know. Any other news stories anybody think of that's worth mentioning at least? I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that was groundbreaking that came out. I got nothing.
Not really. I was not prepared for that.
I was not either. I watched that PlayStation thing and I wrote down what I saw, and that was those were the things that I saw. It was like, there's that LA Noire VR thing.
Apparently that's been out for a while. I didn't
even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else was there? Oh, there was that Death Stranding controller looked really cool though. Did you see that?
Oh, with the baby in it? Or the BB.
The BB. It's a clear yellow controller with BB in it. Like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Can we just before we conclude here, can we just comment on how amazing Succession has been this season?
I have not watched it.
Yep. Absolutely. Are you caught up?
Oh my god, yeah, I'm caught up. The last
Succession's so good it hurts.
The last episode was down just a little bit for me, but they're building up to something. So it's
all right.
The show's ridiculous.
Man.
I'm just trying to get caught up on like Chernobyl.
This is executive level business. He's beating a man to death with water bottles. Succession's it's funny.
Hi, yes, hi, I've committed a federal crime. Yes, hi.
Hi, prison rape, but ouch, rape, this is me walking.
Is the first season funny?
Yeah, not as funny as 2, but it is funny. And
it's not supposed to be. Well, it's supposed to be funny, but overall, it's not a comedy. It's a drama. But there are some hilarious moments in it.
It's not Barry.
No, it's not Barry.
And Barry, even what it is, it's its own. It's more of a dramedy kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
Succession, something else, man. That's my favorite show on right now. For sure, right now.
Yeah, probably right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but Chernobyl's good.
Yeah,
I know how you feel about Chernobyl.
Love Chernobyl.
I know. I need to finish it. I've watched a whole one episode, and it's just a matter of balancing games and TV, and I don't have time to do both. So
nobody does. I don't. I have all the free time in the world, and I don't have time for everything I want to do.
Yeah, I don't even. There's not even really anything on TV I'm watching these days either.
Oh God, I sent it to you guys in the group chat, but on I think it's October 7th or 6th maybe. There's a crap ton of TV.
Oh yeah,
pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I remember you sent it was like, oh yeah, here's all this stuff coming back at once.
Like just that one day alone has me like having a panic attack.
I went through a tear this summer and finished up a few things, but then yeah, since like all of a sudden like September hit and it was just like, okay, I'm playing games again.
Yeah, video games. Yeah, they're here.
October 6th is Harmon Quest, The Simpsons, Succession, Get Shorty, Mr. Robot, Ballers, and Primal all on the same day. That is 7 shows that I want to watch on one day.
That's good thing there's on demand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I just saw that the other day. Guiding Light, the soap opera Guiding Light,
yes.
has their. If you were to watch, if you were to watch all of the episodes, it's like a ridiculous amount of time. There's a shit ton of episodes, but the problem with that, if somebody actually wanted to go back and do that, you can't, because in the 50s when they first started airing that, it was Procter and Gamble that did that show originally.
Oh, right, yeah, because back then companies used to sponsor shows.
And they said that there was no value in holding on to an episode of TV after it aired, so they destroyed the tapes.
Really?
How times have changed, right? Like, think about that. Like, nobody watches anything live now.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't you keep the archival film of that?
Like, the other night at the Emmys, Jon Stewart said as he accepted his Emmy for Best Variety.
Jon Stewart definitely did not.
Not Jon Stewart, sorry. John Oliver.
I was going to say, I was like, what year did you what Emmys did you watch?
John Oliver. They were both on the day of the show. He accepted the Emmy and then said, thanks, Game of Thrones, for the incredible lead-in for the past few years. And that struck me. I was like, I watch both of those shows, but I don't watch them on Sunday night when they're airing.
Right.
I don't do that. Who does that? And then it kind of made me think, like, well, maybe there's still people that watch
just have
live HBO and live TV and watch them back to back.
There are still a decent amount of people out there, I think, that do that. It's becoming less and less.
And as I mean, it's kind of morbid to say, but as generations die out, that'll just become less and less.
Well, and as our generation tells our parents, stop paying for cable, do this. Like, it's...
Although that's going to get bad soon, too, because now there's a million streaming services.
I know, and you just can't catch anything on the same service anymore.
You almost have to pay for a service for a month.
Yep.
Watch the stuff you want to watch on it. Cancel it. Sign up for the next month. The next service. You almost have to start doing that.
That's
now.
what I've been telling people. They're like, "Well, I'm out of stuff to watch on Netflix." Then cancel Netflix and get HBO for a couple months and watch the stuff on there.
Right?
Huh? They look at you like you're insane. I'm like,
and also the concept of running out of stuff to watch on Netflix just baffles me.
Oh, I don't know. Like, there's a threshold there.
I'm out of stuff to watch on there because there's
so much stuff I want to watch
on Netflix.
I'm sure there's stuff on Netflix.
I think there's a very clear line on Netflix, and there's just
it may not be a Netflix original, but it's on Netflix.
Not for much longer, probably though. Whatever it is,
that's true.
Because I mean, the Peacock.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's taking all of their stuff off of there, and which is, I find it even more funny that because Friends aired on NBC, it is not going to be on the Peacock app because the production company was Time Warner, and it's going to be on the HBO Time Warner app, whatever that's called, HBO Now Plus
Max.
18. Oh, it's Max. Yeah, yeah, it's HBO Max. You're right.
It's been really interesting to see HBO kind of try to get in that space. Because I think that you and I talked about this a little bit, Caleb, but I think they'll sacrifice some quality in these next few years. Like the HBO, the sad thing to me about this is the HBO standard is going to dip a little bit. It has to, because they're going to wade into waters that they have always been like,
right?
I'm not.
We're prestige television.
Yes, I'm not. No, thank you. And their CEO just left. I think that there's going to be...
The other thing I think that I'll mention this to you, but in this most recent season of Ballers, which is a bad show, don't watch it.
Although that was on his list of things to watch that night. Yes.
But there's a character
So was Entourage, but we all watched it anyway.
Yeah, Entourage is better than Ballers, if that tells you what Ballers is like.
Okay.
There's a character that wants to quit playing for the Dallas Cowboys to get into esports. And to me, what this is HBO seeing how their audience reacts to professional esports as a pilot for potentially bringing on some League of Legends or something like that. I would not be surprised if we saw
HBO
that.
Max streaming service.
Because at this point, they got to know that Ballers is a bad show too, right? And they're like, well, let's just use it as a pilot. We know the audience that watches Ballers. They know
people are going
right?
to watch The Rock, and that's or Dwayne Johnson,
right?
Whatever you want to call
so how
him.
Does that audience react to esports? I don't know. That's just my theory.
I don't know. Could be. Who knows? Yeah, there's just all kinds of things with Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus. I don't know why everybody's using the Plus thing. Hulu Plus.
I don't know.
ESPN Plus.
There's a lot of them.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of media to consume. Interactive.
Toady might be interesting this year after watching the Emmys. That's a lot of stuff. I bet our Toady conversation will not be as easy as it has been the past few years.
No, I think there'll be less agreement on things. Because, I mean,
especially if you don't get around to watching Succession.
I will try to get around to watching Succession. I really will. I'll get there. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be even tough to come up individually for me with a distinction over which one of these shows is better than another.
Say, and I'm Succession is my favorite thing on right now, but as the year as a whole, like I really have to evaluate that.
Barry season 2 was this year.
Yeah, right. So like,
and Chernobyl was this year. Like that's crazy. Like how do you pick between one of those three shows?
They're all very good.
That's for sure.
Stranger Things was this year.
Stranger Things 3 was this year.
Although I wouldn't put it in that tier.
I haven't finished Stranger Things 3. So
okay, you should finish it though.
Yeah, I will.
You should definitely
I will by the time we deliberate in early 2020.
Toadies is usually late January 2020.
Was Fleabag season 2 this year?
Fleabag season 2
Oh my
was
god,
this year.
seriously?
There you go.
It's gonna be impossible.
It cleaned up the other night.
Yeah, deservedly.
Yeah. And I'm sure everybody says it's good, but like the first half hour of the Emmys was Barry, winner, Fleabag, Barry, winner, Fleabag.
Yeah.
There was like multiple nominations for Barry in almost the first like 6 categories. Hader finally won, but it was just like, Barry had 3 supporting.
3 supporting actors, 1 supporting actress.
That's crazy.
So 5
one show
characters from one show got nominated. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then they gave best drama to Game of Thrones.
Lifetime achievement.
Right.
I still disagree with that.
Yeah.
What else was down there that should have won? Succession?
And whatever else was nominated should have won.
Trying to think of what else was even nominated this year.
I can't remember. I can't
remember. Succession was one of them. Chernobyl was limited series.
Yeah. At the end of the show, Chernobyl cleared up for all the limited stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we got Marvelous Mrs. Maisel too coming back in.
That was winning a bunch of awards too. The guy, the actor,
Tony Shalhoub won best supporting actor.
Yeah,
which, like I said, the stretching scene alone.
Oh my god, he's awesome.
He's really good in that show, and he's been good in a lot of things for years. He's been good. He was good when he was in Wings. You don't tell me you don't.
Holy cow! He was in Wings.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Oh man,
he's the cab driver.
That's you know what in the golden era of television, would you put now we're just way out there.
Are you going off of Wings? Because I have one thing to say about Wings.
Go ahead.
Okay. The only thing I know about
you besmirched Wings.
No.
Come across your table.
I have never watched a single episode of Wings.
What?
But there used to be when it was syndicated, there used to be a commercial on like watch Wings at 6:00 or whatever it is.
Sure.
And it was just this guy with this giant wrench. I mean, it's like half the size of him. He has this wrench, and he just turns to the other guy and he goes, "Well, I'm gonna go get the big wrench." That's the only scene from that show I know, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was Thomas Hayden Church. His character's name was Lowell Mather. He was the mechanic.
Oh man,
he was just a complete idiot.
Yeah, God.
So anyway, back to your thoughts.
Let me just
sorry.
real quick. Sorry. Have we? Because I don't think Fleabag or like Californication or even Ballers or Entourage or whatever count as sitcoms. Have we lost the sitcom?
No. Well, in my opinion, no.
You watch too much Superstore.
Superstore is incredible.
All right.
The Good Place is incredible.
I'm just not watching them.
Sitcom?
Because it doesn't hit me like a.
It's not a situation comedy.
It's a situation.
Like, is there
it's like one big situation, though.
Right, that's a situation.
Is there a living room in the Good Place?
No.
Like, is there a kitchen?
Yeah. Like, there's not a standard scene or like, because there's always
there an apartment?
Yeah, there's not. Well, there's the clown house.
Yeah, but then there's the bar.
Yeah,
like,
they do move locations.
Like they have multiple. They have like too many though.
Yeah. It's Always Sunny. It just came back last night, and it's the episode last night was like one of the best episodes they've ever done.
I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah.
I saw a commercial for it, and it was like, dude, it's past midnight. What are you doing? What are you, 40? Yes, I'm older than 40. As are you. And then the trailer just cut off. Yeah. There wasn't anything crass about it. It was just like a weird old joke.
It's like,
and it worked. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I just wonder, I'm just curious, like, as we move into these services, like, will that disappear? Like, I know Big Bang had a good run. I don't watch that. Whatever, people love it. People hate it. Whatever. I'm curious. Wings, Spin City, Full House, Family Matters, like those kind of things.
The heyday of the sitcom is over, that's for sure.
Oh, the family comedy thing is
but like even that, but like Friends, Seinfeld, all of those, Cheers, all of those, though they weren't family, but they were
like
still
the single,
sitcoms.
like the single or like limited sets and that kind of
3-camera shoot is what is typically.
I don't know. There's something about those things that like I find very comforting.
Right, like
and
Fuller House for me is what that is.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like it's as it goes away, I'm like, that's kind of a dinosaur that I wish would at least come back.
There's 1 or 2 decent ones still left at a time right now. And it's kind
of a lot of people love One Day at a Time. A lot of people just love that show.
I don't know.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And then what is Schitt's Creek?
I think that's more like I've been meaning to watch that, but I think that's more like Arrested Development.
Okay, which is. What would you call
that's
it?
not.
It's not a sitcom.
Not really a sitcom. That's a mockumentary more than anything.
Well, yeah, but like some of those what would you consider like The Office and Parks and Rec?
Yeah, we're blurring the lines
now
here.
I consider those different things. Like, or Modern Family, even I would consider a different thing.
Because all those are shot like they're
mockumentaries.
Like mockumentaries.
Yeah.
But But at the same time, they're still. it's still the same group of people put in weird, goofy situations. That's just shot differently.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a way to differentiate this, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like they call it like single camera versus multi-camera or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's not like actually what they do. Like a single camera show does not have a single camera. It's just called that.
Right. It's called a single camera because they're not like just constantly like moving just angles.
Yeah. If you look at Full House versus The Office, you have like you're always on that one side of the house with Full House, and then in The Office you're all over.
You're in a 3-dimensional space. Yeah.
I think that's the determining factor. Where a sitcom fits into that, I don't know. But
yeah, I feel like it's the title is situation comedy. If it's the same group of characters in the same place, put in different situations for comedic purpose, that is a sitcom.
Yeah, I'm sure there's several on network TV, but I don't really watch a ton of network TV.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a lot.
Well, I don't know. But apparently, people watch CBS. I'm not one of them, but somebody.
They do a lot of sitcoms though either. I think they have a few here and there, but
I don't know.
CBS is still big on sitcoms.
Of course, based on watching football, that's about the only way I know what's on CBS. And there's a new sitcom called Bob Hart's Abishola.
I saw that.
You watched the actual TV show? No,
but I saw the same ad.
It's the guy from Mike and Molly, which admittedly I have seen every episode of Mike and Molly. It's not that great, but
okay. Did you watch King of Queens too?
I've seen episodes here and there, but not. I
Leah Remini's hot.
Yeah.
I will give you that. I'll give you.
But what was I going to say? Yeah, I think there's still a market for that. But the funny thing about network TV, I was going to mention is TV Guide put out an article recently, and it was they watched all of the network premiere shows. And they said, we're going to watch all the network premiere shows and pick the 5 best. And they got to number 5 and they were like, we just put this show here because we promised a number 5.
Wow.
They couldn't even get 5 shows that they would recommend to people to watch.
Oh yeah, Thursday Night Football's the thing.
Oh yeah, right.
It's on right now. I was actually do you guys know anything about Evil? Speaking of CBS.
Evil? No.
Yeah, there's a show called Evil. It was on tonight. I'm just adding it to my DVR real quick. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. It was on some list about shows that you need to watch this fall, new shows. And I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of even anything I've seen of like, oh, hey, that new show looks okay on network TV. I don't think there's... I think Cal Penn has a sitcom coming on NBC. I've enjoyed him in things.
Who is that? I don't know who
Cal Penn.
Yeah.
The movie where they went to White Castle.
Harold and Kumar.
Harold and Kumar. He's Kumar.
Oh, okay.
He was on.
He went and worked for Obama legitimately for a little while.
Oh, right, that guy. Okay.
And he was in House.
Yeah.
For a while, and he was also on Designated Survivor.
I did not watch that show.
My wife watched it, so I absorbed that through her.
Evil's getting a 75, which is like the highest score I've seen for a network drama in forever. So
what's it about?
It's about a priest.
Sure,
it's about
evil priest.
It's about the cross section between, the quick way to describe it is cross section between science and religion, and like backing away evil forces with both. Trying to like find, like, it seems like a cool premise. Like, this is clearly like a demonic thing, and we need both to figure out how to deal with it.
Okay.
So yeah, there was your TV 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think it really has been almost 30 minutes.
Yep.
So wait a second. I gotta go back to this because I know that there are shows.
Wings is one of the greatest television shows of all time.
I was gonna say, I know there are shows that you have watched every episode where I can shame you onto, like Mike and Molly.
Jesus.
I know there are.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of something that I've.
Jason, what's the most embarrassing show that you've seen every episode of?
Wrestling.
Every episode.
I haven't seen every episode of Raw.
I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm sure I have something bad. I'm sure of it.
Entourage.
I mean, well, it just blurs that line of quality too much.
Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Nah, yeah, you know what? Actually, that show is real good. Never mind.
I'm sure.
You know,
I know.
Mine isn't even Mike and Molly. I don't think.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of like what I watched, like what I've watched even in the like the last 10 years. That is like just cringe. Why am I watching this TV?
Mine is probably actually According to Jim, that Jim Belushi sitcom.
Was it bad?
I think it's bad.
But I don't know if I really ever watched it.
The wife was hot.
Yes, that's for sure. Is that Kim Paisley?
I don't know.
Okay. That was Kimberly Williams Paisley, but daughter and father of the bride, same girl.
Maybe I'm not sure.
This is why you keep me around for trivia purposes.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a real trash sitcom or something that are like.
There's got to be something. I know that's your homework for next time.
Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
I've seen pretty much almost every episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
And it's probably been on for, I'm gonna guess 14 years at this point.
There was the Broadchurch remake over here that was on Fox. Oh, Fox will give me some bad shows. The Following. I saw every episode of The Following. Kevin Bacon.
But that didn't
the
look
dude
bad.
from Rome. Oh, but it was
bad.
It was terrible, but I watched all of that because I was really like pulling for like, come on, network TV, you can do it. Come on, Kevin Bacon, and it was rough. I'm sure there's something worse than that, but
and like I don't take this the wrong way, but Gotham is not on this list, right? Because that's actually like legitimately good.
Gotham
there's too many good parts of Gotham.
There was enough good in Gotham to say that I watched it all, but I would say the first 2 or 3 seasons were pretty good. 4 and 5 were pretty bad.
1.5, I would say.
But I think it's actually maybe like, but it was not from the first season. I would say end of first season, so maybe like latter part of first season, second season, and then mid part of the third season were pretty good. And then after that, it just kind of went to shit.
Yeah.
When they decided that they were going to focus a lot more on Bruce, that's when the problems started to arise.
Yeah, it was The Following, and then there was I forgot something else on Fox that I watched that was really bad.
Gotham also on Fox.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
Prison Break was kind of bad.
Oh yeah, I watched. Oh, yeah, the problem is Prison Break
it was good at the beginning.
Good, but I watched all of Prison Break, and I even watched the new season of Prison Break, the comeback.
Seasons 1 and 3 of Prison Break are really good, and the other seasons are kind of not.
Yeah, those are rough.
Every time they were actually in prison, it was great, and when they weren't in prison, it was bad.
Yeah,
I just think back to wasn't there an episode of Family Guy where Peter ran through a bunch of shows that Fox canceled?
Oh, I watched all of Skin, which was one of those shows.
Yeah,
it was a Romeo and Juliet thing, but like a modern day Romeo and Juliet. It was called Skin. I watched the whole first season of that. Okay. This was like 2003, though. It was a long time ago. It's when Family Guy came back. And I remember it's in that montage. Skin.
Yeah. The War at Home.
Yeah. That show was good.
Greg the Bunny.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to remember, just thinking of Peter saying all these names of shows that got canceled.
In the time that it took them
to reboot it. There was like a random supercut of shows. And they had a ton of failed like animated shows, which they said they're probably gonna have another one this year.
Oh yeah, they do. It looked really bad.
Oh, Fox again.
Yeah.
What was the half animated show? Son of Zorn.
Okay.
Oh, I watched all of those.
I watched all of Son of Zorn.
I also did.
I have one. I did it, guys.
That show was really bad.
I did it, and I watched every episode of Son of Zorn.
I watched like the first episode, and I was like, "This is bad. I can't do this."
I kept expecting it to get good for some reason, and it never did.
Who was behind that show? Was it a Seth MacFarlane thing?
I don't know.
Who did the voiceover? Was it who was the voice of Zorn? Was it Jason? It's one of the Jasons, right? It's one of the Jasons.
I don't know.
And so you've got
I'm trying to
sorry.
hear it in my head, and I can't even
Who's the
hear it
ladies'
now.
man from SNL? What is his
Tim
name?
Meadows.
Tim
Yeah.
Meadows.
So you got Tim Meadows on one side, and then the wife on the other side, who's done softcore porn.
Cheryl Hines.
yeah,
Cheryl
from
Hines.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And then the kid was also he's been in stuff too.
So it looks like I got a weakness for bad Fox shows.
Yeah,
We found it. There it is. I don't know. I remember being like, Son of Storm's canceled. Oh, I'm so not surprised.
I know.
Man.
The one for me recently was AP Bio, and I was like,
Heard of that.
I saw it was canceled. Well, okay, so it was a roller coaster because I saw it was canceled, and at first I was like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of bummed because that show had flashes that it could be good and in the right hands. And then I was like, no, it's probably a good thing it was canceled. And then it was revived, and I was like, yeah. And now I have really mixed feelings about that now.
I feel like there's got to be some on FX too. Like that was
I can only think of
like
stuff that was
show that you watched on FX that was like.
I did watch one show that was canceled on there. It's the guy from Mindhunter. He was a boxer. I watched all of those. His father was Stacy Keach, is the actor who was his father.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that show. It was like The Contender or The Comeback or something like that. And it wasn't bad, but it didn't survive the first season. Terriers was good, and it didn't make it out of
really good.
It didn't make it out of the first season because nobody watched it. So
I just googled best bad TV shows.
Well, that's a different thing.
Yeah. I'm not finding anything that great on here. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, You is on that list.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
yeah, I get
it's
it too.
bad. It's kind of trashy.
It was on Lifetime to start with, which I gave.
Was it really?
about. Yeah.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah,
It started
and
on
I was
Lifetime?
like, and I watched it when it was on Lifetime, and now Netflix has a big thing on it that says like Netflix original. It's like
they're pretty loose
what?
with that.
No,
Like during the
come on,
acquisition of
give
that.
give me credit for watching something on Lifetime. Come on, Netflix. Actually, I watched Unreal too. That was also on a Lifetime.
I was going to ask you what the other one was.
Watched a lot of Baywatch growing up.
Yeah, but you just haven't seen every episode of Baywatch.
I don't know. I might have.
I don't know.
No, I watched Baywatch Nights even too, if that tells you anything.
Ooh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Boy. It was him and the other guy, right? The other guy from the show, the guy who used to ride the four-wheeler, and they were cops at night.
Yeah, they were night cops, but you never, I don't know when they slept. It was so bad.
Mitch Buchanan.
Mitch Prefon Buchanan.
They're just on that Jack Bauer plan. Just no sleep, no bathroom breaks, no eating, nothing.
Yep.
Just straight on through.
Baywatch Nights was a thing.
Speaking of that, 24 could possibly be on that list.
Yeah, I feel like 24 was one of those shows that it had good seasons and bad seasons. I never watched it, but
even the good seasons had some bad parts to them too. So, like the part with the mountain lion in the first season.
Yeah, look, here we go. The following season 2 was a 44 on Metacritic, and I've seen all of those episodes. So there you go.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should try to find the lowest Metacritic score show that we've watched every episode of.
Oh man. Is there a way to sort on Metacritic and go?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Going
know.
bachts from worst to best right now, and I
just
haven't
wonder
seen
how
any of this stuff.
Far back, yeah, you go.
There's stuff from the aughts in here,
I remember
2006.
seeing The Loop.
There you go.
I watched one episode of it and it was bad, and I never watched it again. Baywatch Nights got a 3.8 out of 10, at least on IMDb.
Ooh.
Angie Harmon, wife of Mark Harmon.
Mac Hammond.
And Eddie Cibrian was the other guy that was on that show. It had how many episodes? 45 episodes of Baywatch Nights. That's actually a lot more than what I thought. I don't think I've seen every episode.
It's a beautiful time in America, Logan.
God. How many episodes of Baywatch were there? Just straight Baywatch. Ran from 89 to 2001. 242 episodes.
That is a lot of TV, man.
I'm looking through this article and it's the top 50 worst TV shows of all time, and I have not seen any of them yet. I have seen episodes of Rules of Engagement, but I've not seen...
I have seen episodes
Rules
of that
of Engagement's actually not a bad show.
Well, according to this, it is. 28.
What?
28 out of 100.
Wait, who's in Rules of Engagement?
Spade.
And Patrick Warburton.
No, I'm thinking of something else then. Sorry. What was that show? Oh God. It's the guy who looks like the White Mamba? Boston guy?
Scalabrini? He looks like
Scalabrini. He's been in...
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's he also does the NBA celebrity game every year.
He does the NBA celebrity game every year.
Yeah, what's his name? I forget his name now.
It's a comic. But that's...
Have you seen all the episodes of Third Rock from the Sun?
No, I really didn't care for that show.
Really? That's on the worst list? Because I thought that was a decent show.
Low. Yeah.
I mean, it had the caliber of actors on that show, but I mean, it's kind of a dumb concept.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else that's...
Well, that can be our homework for next time.
Yeah.
All right. We're about 2 hours into this podcast. We should probably wrap it up. Anybody have anything else for the cause?
I'm going to go watch Superstore and The Good Place.
Oh, yeah. Was The Good Place on tonight?
Yeah.
Is that, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to get caught up on that as well, too. So, yeah. Jason, got anything else?
I don't think so.
Oh, remember Cavemen?
Don't remember that.
I remember Dinosaurs.
Based on the Geico commercials?
God. I think I've seen every episode of Dinosaurs.
No, Cavemen was
but
the
as
show.
Kids, that show was great. I mean...
Yeah.
Cavemen was the show based on the Geico commercials. You don't remember that?
Oh, yeah. I forgot they did it.
I forgot that was a thing.
But anyway, we can end on that.
Wow. Everywhere I go.
It's good stuff. All right. Thank you for sticking
around
for the last 10 minutes of this nonsense. Somehow our podcast evolved into nothing by the last 10 minutes.
Video games.
That's normal.
Hashtag video game. Tag video games. Video games.
/TV.
Games.
Got any NBA stuff we want to throw in there real quick?
Any fast food thoughts?
Oh, man. Arby's bought Jimmy John's.
Really? I didn't know
that was the hot news of the day. Arby's bought Jimmy John's.
Did you know that Arby's has onion rings? I just found that out today.
Why would you ever get onion rings when they have
I don't know. Somebody said they were really good.
Made?
So I'm going to have to go try Arby's
Why not
onion
get
rings?
both? I watched every episode of Tyrant FX.
Oh, okay.
Tyrant.
Okay.
There. Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
Not
terrible. A bad FX show.
Yeah, there you go. A bad FX show.
Bad FX show is still probably better than most network TV.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Bye, guys. I'm leaving. Bye.
You're not leaving without my car. Well, wait, maybe you could. Oh God! Get back! Give me my keys! God, shit!